All right, welcome back to SRS Chess, or if it's your first time here, then welcome. I was playing the yearly Superblitz Arena, an event that only comes once per year, so I was very excited to play it. So now I'm playing the Italian game, the Gucci Pianissimo. I've studied the theory enough to know that the moves here are c3, d3, h3, a3 castles, and then eventually bringing the rook out to the e file, swinging the knight around to d2, and then to f1, and so forth. So now, because my opponent plays that knight g to e7 move, that's not a great place for his knight to be, and I'm immediately seeing tactics. And then he immediately makes a blunder. This was, I think, my third game in the annual arena, and the first two were not too noteworthy. I have to decide if I want to bring my rook all the way back, and I decide that I will. After he moves his knight, he might be able to bring the queen to the h file. So I'm looking at ways that I can prevent that. I am immediately seeing that if I capture his pawn, well, he might not be able to if he moves his knight, because it would pin that pawn. Now he's got defense of both that pawn and the square that I could have checkmated him on had he allowed it. Now I want to move my knight out in a way that does not prevent my king from walking to the queen side. I'm also thinking about playing this move, queen to e6. Pins his knight, so now he's not able to castle, and he probably, realistically, will have to move his queen up. Otherwise, there are too many tactics like the one I'm demonstrating that might be winning. So now ultimately I do trade queens, because I'm immediately seeing that this is going to give me some tactics to check him with my knights. If I go to this square, then I can check him on the c5 square. So I bring my knight to c5 anyway, because as mentioned, it defends the pawn. His rook can't take it. So now I'm thinking about how if I take that pawn and then bring it back, I'll still be defending the pawn, so he'll probably capture. I'll take back with my a pawn, and then after I had an uncovered check, I might even be able to checkmate him. But I doubt things will proceed exactly as demonstrated, and they will not. So now he does take the pawn. Well, he can. I'm going to start with this check, because if he moves towards my knight, then I win his rook. And he does move towards my knight, so I will take his rook. I am noticing that he'll have this pawn push to e4, which might win a piece back. So we'll see if he does win a piece back with that move. So now there are two things that I could do here reasonably. I could, well, no. Well, yeah, there are. I could play bishop to d7. I could also just take this right away with the idea of taking this pawn, as if he takes back, I will take his rook. So he immediately plays that move, and I am seeing that I can check him first with my bishop, and if he moves to this square, he does. Now I'm able to get my knight out of the way, and I don't lose any material. So very nicely done. If he had moved to a different square, there would have been bigger problems than he has even now. So I'm expecting him to take. I only have 25 seconds left. I'm actually a little bit surprised to see that. It feels like I felt like I played pretty fast, but I guess not, or at least according to the website, my opponent played twice as fast as me, surprisingly. Okay, so now I went for that check, didn't get it. He didn't allow it. Now I can probably take this pawn if he doesn't. Okay, now I still go for this, which was obviously a mistake, but I'm trying to eliminate all of his material from the board so I don't lose this game, since I was winning by quite a lot. My opponent has not made many mistakes, blunders, inaccuracies, etc. in this game. Almost none, in fact. So I think three to be precise. So not nothing, but I should have taken his bishop while I had the chance. I'm just trying to eliminate his pawns. I think I was just focused on his pawns more than anything. Now we can take that, and I'll just have two things left. Now he did blunder by allowing me to take had I seen it, but I just didn't actually have enough time. So now I will lose the game unless I take this pawn. So I pre-move it, and he moves his king down. So yeah, you can see that my opponent playing 86% accuracy. It was just barely not visible there, but 86% accuracy. The only mistake I made was not taking his bishop when I had a chance. Now this is, I think, like 2 games later in the arena, and I make this blunder by trying to go for a bishop trade, and now the game is a draw. So this is another game that I just kind of had to grind out, and now it's a draw. And if I had like lessons from somebody, maybe I would know how to do this by now. I'm not sure. I'm not sure at what level people would normally be able to know exactly how to ensure that this game winds up a draw. Doing the game review, it seems like what I need to do is check his king away from my pawn anytime he gets close to it. But like, as far as what are the principles of an endgame like this, I'm not really sure at what level you would learn that, or how good I would, what my rating would, what you would expect my rating would be, to be able to do such a thing. Now the game is still a draw, and again, it's kind of tricky to know exactly. It's hard for me to even know how to say it, because I don't know if it's a principle of chess that you would learn to ensure that you convert these games or keep them as draws. That move was my last chance to move the rook behind his pawn, and the game still would have been a draw, but now it's checkmate in 2. So as long as he moves his king up, it's going to be a checkmate, and now, yeah, it's too late for me. So that's it. I get checkmated, and I lose the game 83%. Okay, so my opponent playing 83% accuracy in that game. So then I played this game, and I had won, I think, about a third of my games or so at this point. And so now, very familiar position. I'm sure there are games in the Masters database where this was the position. I moved my light squared bishop back, and now I'm noticing that if I move that knight up, I'll be able to take his pawn. If he takes back, then I'll be able to take his rook. So I've seen that tactic before. I'm sure I'll see it again. And now I still have the same tactic. I can still take that, because if he takes back, now I get his bishop. So he needs to defend against that tactic, and that will do it. That will defend against that tactic. So now, because his queen would have been able to take my knight there, I had to hop back. And now I'll probably I will have that tactic again. If he takes my knight and I take back with my knight, then I will have that tactic again. So he does not take. For that reason, I can assume almost all of my opponents playing 90% accuracy, with 1 to 3 blunders. I think like all of them either played 85 to 95% accuracy, or they started making mistakes, up to and including blunders, when I had about 5 seconds left. So after I have about 5 seconds left, my opponent's definitely not playing as well. They do usually play equally accurately if they have 5 seconds or less. They'll often play infinite moves without requiring the use of time. So regardless of the reason that I'm playing nothing but robots, regardless of the reason, I would think that as somebody at Lichess would at least try to communicate with me. I know that there used to be people that would claim that they believed that that I played as well as or no better than a player rated like 1200 or that of like a beginner. And because there are no longer people that are doing that, it is my assumption that that those people have realized that I am playing fairly, or they were being disingenuous in the first place. So now I'm noticing that if I take, well, there were a number of tactics, but they were all based on the fact that his knight was pinned, and that well, he takes care of that by playing that move. So now he will not be pinned, and I decide to just kind of release the tension by initiating some trades in a 3-minute game with no increment. You don't have that much time, so I think I did well for myself with that series of moves. I think I played the position pretty well. I met the demands of the position with at least satisfaction. So now I can take his pawn. He's not playing that well. I do play against, I played against a streamer the other night. So apparently there are still yet some humans that I'm allowed to play, although that was played quite robotically. The games where I win, I tend to win by a lot, and the games where I lose are usually like 75 to 100 move games, which are extraordinarily difficult. So I do let him take my pawn, or I was going to let him take my pawn to get both of my rooks on the same file, or the same rank, but he decides to trade one off. I guess he probably had to. He would know better than me. He is a robot. So now I did assess the time, and I thought there's zero chance he has of being able to, even a robot is not going to win this game. Even if it is like a draw, or now it's a draw, which it might be. It doesn't matter. So I was actually going for a checkmate trick, but yeah, he did play 86% accuracy. In order to win these games, I usually have to play about 90 to 95% accuracy with no blunders, which is very difficult. So now I can just take back, but then he'll take my pawn with his bishop, and then I will lose the game. It would be a checkmate after he takes with his rook and bishop combination. Now he's going to have the uncovered check and a checkmate. Nothing I can do about that. So a lot of the time when I lose games, they're like that. They're like that, where my opponent plays, once again, 86 to 95% accuracy with 1 to 3 blunders, usually blundering a pawn. And then any additional blunders are usually or most often blundering into some kind of draw when I have like 5 seconds left. So now we see the exchange of pawns instead of pushing the pawn or something like that. I do trade them. Now his queen's out early, which is nice because you can imagine that I could make the knight hop here, but you do have to be careful of him checking and picking up that knight. There are tricks like that. So I decide to castle first. Now I can't play that move. He pushes the pawn to stop it. Now I'm going for some kind of trick where I might be able to hop up with my knight and then take his f7 pawn. However, when you're playing against somebody who's almost guaranteed to stop tactics like that, it does give you a little bit of pause, and you figure, well, if he's allowing it, it's probably not a thing, because he wouldn't allow it if it was a thing. So I'm letting him take my bishop here if he wants to, and in this position I can play knight to a4. So I don't know if I'm going to notice that, or I do notice that. So I notice that, and I do play it. And so he takes my queen there. So now he'll probably take my bishop, and he does. And this is going to be a game where my opponent plays about 90 to 95% accuracy with 1 to 3 blunders. So now I would be able to take his pawn, but he defended it. Actually, I can still kind of take it, but then I would be giving up the exchange. No need to do that. I can get both of my rooks on the A file and take that pawn, unless he defends against it. But first I make the bishop back up. I should probably, well, I don't know. I mean, I do want my knight to be able to move. Now, though, he can take that pawn. So I'm going to offer him my pawn for counterplay. So I would like to be able to, okay, he does not accept the offer of a pawn exchange. So this is a very difficult game so far. My opponent also playing instantly and not making mistakes. So kind of a double whammy. I can push his knight back. So I don't know that anything so far has been more than like a mistake. I can probably push the pawn, but it gives him a target, and it's not, I don't know. If he moves his knight, okay, now he has to trade. He has to trade pieces here. So nice, I can insert the check. Now my rook does not have a lot of real estate. I have to play this move. I believe I have to play this move, and now I am already defending the pawn. I'm going to over defend it, and I might even defend it a third time with this knight. I don't know what piece is going to be most useful for trying to make any kind of headway here. I could go for a draw, or I could free up one of my rooks, and I'm going to try to free up a rook. So the best idea that I have at this point is by trying to get through on the king side. We'll see what happens here. He still has twice the amount of time that I do, surprisingly, or well, not surprisingly, but if you were the kind of person that for any reason doubts that I'm playing robots, I guess that then it might be surprising. I think it's pretty obvious. Also, I mean, I can play on an account that plays against humans. It's not like I can't do that. It's just I shouldn't have to. So that's, I guess it's not just a matter of principle, but it is. I mean, that's like one of the issues for sure. So now my pawn's defended. Both of my weak pawns are defended. I'm going to try to push through. He's still guarding things, and I'm going to defend that pawn because the knight still defends the D pawn. The rook defends the B pawn. This bone's connected to that song, the bone song. I was just singing the bone song. Okay, so now I can probably not do anything, as he just has to defend his pawn, and he does. So now I can play this move, and that actually, honestly, that might not have been that good of a move. He might be able to find a way in finally. Yeah, he's going to start pushing his pawns. So even if I were able to hold on another 30 moves here, I don't know. My opponent would be able to play infinite moves. There are just a lot of things about these games that make them virtually unwinnable. So he does win one of my pawns, and yeah, I mean, I would have I have no doubt that he would be able to play another 50, 60 moves, no problem. So I'm out of time, and that's it. So my opponent playing 74%, but that's because all of those blunders were made after move 45. So it might not look like my opponent played well, but he did. And so now when I win games, they usually just come out of the form of resignations with barely any time used at all. So an ideal way to make the experience of playing on Lichess as unpleasant as possible without me necessarily even losing rating points. Although I certainly can't gain rating points, not in any easy or appreciable way. So I played 15 games. I won about half of them. This is going to be the last game that I show. I'm playing against Karmit the Frag. And this is a pretty standard position that you'd get out of a Sicilian, where your opponent pushes the e-pawn. So now the pawn is undefended. I have to either move my knight or push the f-pawn. I went with this and then this. Now I did review this game with an engine after I was done with the tournament. I push the pawn, expose the bishop to the queen, and he plays the best move. Based on what the engine said after the game, that was the best move. I played the best move. He played the best move. I played the best move, and now I make some mistakes. The engine didn't love my play in the middle game. I think this is the blunder. Well, I thought that was a blunder right off the bat, but I'm not sure if that was. Now his idea is to hop down with the knight because he has that isolated pawn. This is the blunder, I believe. I believe this is the blunder. And so now he has like kind of one winning idea, really. He's going to find it. Maybe that was the blunder. It might have been that. That looks like a blunder, because now I don't think there's any way to avoid losing a piece now. I could move the bishop up a square, but I think that there is something he could do there. So I'm not 100% on that. My concern would be that his light squared bishop would come in and pin me. So now I have this idea where I can take his pawn, and now my bishop can take his pawn. Now I think he would have to blunder into any kind of checkmate, but I'm still going for this idea where I do that. I was looking for a checkmate here, seeing that I wouldn't have it. And if I wouldn't have a checkmate, it's kind of hard. I mean, it's kind of hard to know exactly what to do. His bishop is able to take my rook on the next move if I don't move my rook. So I did want to move my rook, but there's not really anything to do with it. Now when he takes, I have to take back, or I'm gonna get checkmated. So it kind of stinks, to be honest. It smells like a robot. Now I have this move, but he's just gonna easily step aside. It's no problem at all. And yeah, I mean, I can give up at this point in the game. I can just give up. So thank you so much for watching SRS Chess. It is an enterprise brought to you by objectively speaking, an expert level player. Not a lot of help from other people, not so much. So anybody who likes, shares, or subscribes to this video, a huge amount of thanks goes out to you. And please tell your friends, family members, or an important pet about my content. And it would It probably won't change the fact that I'm playing robots. I didn't have a move there. I mean, my opponent just, it's, what are you going to do? My opponent going for the rainbow connection, and he finds it, playing 90% with 3 blunders. So, and that's going to be it for my year. 16 games, and still won about half of them, but didn't feel like it. So I'm going to go ahead and analyze one game, okay, actually, this was my last game in the arena, and my opponent using, as was mentioned earlier, my opponent taking advantage of the fact that he has infinite time. Could promote all of those pawns if he wanted to, but I don't even have, I ain't got time for that. So that's it. And that, well, look, he played 91% accuracy with 1 blunder. And in this first game that I am analyzing, I believe my opponent playing about 90% with 1 blunder. So it's been serious chess. Have a good year.